It's the beginning of the fall season, which means one thing. Time to start baking. Tonight we're gonna be making banana bread. That's right, one of the most exciting breads you can have. Better than that stupid Wonder Bread. Screw you, Wonder. Alright, but all joking aside, cooking should be fun, so to start off with, I have my relaxation juice. Number 2, we're going to be baking in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Celsius, you can go screw yourself, to be honest with you. But anywho, let's start off by turning the oven on, letting it heat up to 350 degrees. That way, when all of our stuff is together, we don't have to wait. We can just put it right in the oven. All right, we're gonna want 2 bowls to start out with. We're gonna have our wet ingredients bowl and our dry ingredients bowl. If you only have one, that is fine. Just add all of your wet ingredients first, and then add your dry ingredients as you put things together, okay? All right, so to start off with, it's banana bread. So take a wild guess as to the first ingredient. It's not ham. It's not ham. It's bananas, all right? And you don't want super ripe bananas. You don't want them to be green, and you don't want them to be yellow. You want them to have these little yucky bruise marks all over them. That means it's overripe, all right? It's a bit old. That means all the sugars are breaking down in this banana, and that means all the sweetness is coming out. And I saved this one with the peel on it so you can see what I'm talking about. If it's a little bit older, like the peel is getting a little bit blacker, that's all perfectly okay. It's a little bit gross to peel. So I'm gonna peel this one. This one's been in the freezer for a while, so it's actually past ripe, but it'll be perfectly fine. Matter of fact, it's kind of gonna liquefy on its own. So I'm gonna peel this guy and we'll get started. We're gonna want our handy dandy fork and we're just gonna mash it all up. If you want to just use like a potato masher or something, that's totally fine. Matter of fact, it'd probably work a little better. But a fork is just fine and it'll work. All right, so if you are at home and you have a bunch of bananas that are starting to get old and go bad, pop them in the freezer and save them. They're great for things like banana bread, and they're also very good in protein shakes if you like that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm really starting to feel out nasty.
Next, we're gonna pour in about 1/3 cup of milk. Let's see, I like whole milk. You can get away with skim milk and it'll do fine, but whole milk is good. Next, we have about 1/2 stick of butter that I melted ahead of time. All right, there we go. It doesn't have to be 100% melted. You can just soften it up and it'll do okay. No problems there. There we go. I like to have it unsalted, so that way I can control if I want to put any salt into this bread or any of my other recipes. And for those of you at home thinking, oh, could I use oil? Could I use like olive oil or vegetable oil? Yes, you sure could. In my opinion, it'd be a mistake because only communists don't use butter. But you totally could. And last but not least in the wet ingredient, well, not last, okay. We'll rephrase that. Second to last but not least is we're gonna toss in a large egg and try not to get any shell in there, especially at this stage of the game. All right, and we're just gonna incorporate the egg now, much as we can. Right. So this is a perfectly good start for your wet ingredients. If you only have this much here, you're doing great. I'm going to throw in an optional ingredient here. I'm going to throw in about, it's about a teaspoon. Let's go about a teaspoon and a half of some rum. Let's see here. It'll just give a little extra flavor in there. It adds some vanilla plus a little bit of the spices from the rum. Just makes the flavor a little bit more interesting. Alrighty. Our wet ingredients are all incorporated, and the sooner they can get mixed together, the better, because you want all of their flavors to kind of mix and mingle. The longer, the better. Next, we're going to go on to our dry stuff. And for this, I recommend having something to sift all of your powders through. All right, let's mix in our dry ingredients. You're going to want a sifter or a colander or something. I have my sugar here. I have 1/4 cup of brown sugar, and I have about 2/4 cup or a 1/2 cup of white sugar. If you only have all right. If you only have the white sugar, it's okay. The brown sugar it'll give you a little bit more, a little bit extra character in your dish, and it'll give you a little bit more umami. I'll stop making that joke when it stops making me laugh. All right, I'm going to speed through this sifting process because it'll take a little bit. Screw that. I abandoned sifting the brown sugar with the colander. It clumps a little bit too easily, but that's okay. We're breaking up with a fork. There we are. There we go. All right, next up, we do want to sift this in. There we go. We're going to sift in some all-purpose flour. We got 1 cup of We have 1 cup of all-purpose flour. Just gonna sift that in like so. There we are. And for those at home, they're saying, dude, I could totally do this if I had a bunch of pre-measured cups and bowls around my dish. LOL. Well, then if you're cooking, go ahead and do that. Pre-measure everything, put them in bowls around where you're gonna be working, add them in the proper order, and it'll make the dish that much easier. I think the French have a word for that. I can't quite remember what it is, but if you know what it is in the comments, please let me know.
We surrender.
And then I have, there we go. I have 1 teaspoon of baking soda, not baking powder, baking soda that I am stirring into this mixture right here. There we go. So we have our wet stuff and we have our dry stuff. Alrighty. So this is all sifted and incorporated. So I'm going to add our wet stuff to the dry stuff. Alrighty. Just like so. There we go. Everything is in here, and now it's time for our power mixer. Here's the power, and I'm going to start mixing.
Wow!
There's your dad joke of the video. There we go. We're going to mix it until you can't see any of these little flour pockets there, all right? Recommended highly. So now we have 2 options, both equally good, equally valid. You could put this directly into the oven. Put it into a baking dish that's buttered, put it in the oven 350 for 40 minutes. Don't be a smart aleck. No one likes it. No one likes it. Or you can cover it with plastic like so. And I'm gonna put this in the fridge for about 10 minutes. You can put it in the fridge up to overnight, and the longer it's in the fridge, the more the flavors are going to incorporate and mix, and they'll get a little bit more intense. So that's something that I do recommend. Our bread is almost done in the fridge, so I took the liberty of getting our baking utensils. You could use a bread tray. You could use something along this lines, and that's perfectly fine. But I prefer to do these little ramekins. That way you can have your own personal banana bread if you'd like. And I have several of these, so I can make a large batch at once. Hang on. It looks like our banana bread timer is almost up. So let me go get that, and I'll see you guys in just a second. So here's our banana bread batter. And we're just gonna pour it in there. So I would recommend about halfway up your baking utensil, whatever it is. There we go. There we go, about halfway up. 2/3 at the very most. There we go. Looks like it's gonna be just about enough for 3 of these. I do have a third one. There we go. But this tray is too small for the third, so I will do that after the video is completed. All right. Got these right here. I'm gonna give them a little tap-a-roo to get rid of any air bubbles. There we are. Like I said at the very beginning, this oven behind me is already at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So I can just throw this guy right in there. And if you have a toaster oven that has a degree setting, like it's not just like a universal timer, like you can actually set the degrees, you can do a banana bread like this in a toaster oven just as easily, just so you guys know. All right, and that's gonna sit in there for about, I'd say 30 to 35 minutes. We have our banana bread out of the oven. 30 minutes was just about perfect. These look great. Let's do the test. All right, the fork came out perfectly clean, so these should be just about done. That one came out pretty darn easy. We're gonna let that one cool on its own for about, say, 5 to 10 minutes. Using the powers of editing, I'm gonna put this banana bread on this plate and get rid of all this stuff. Ready? I said to let the banana bread rest, but this is Dad's cooking and I don't want to wait that long, so I'll grab some of the butter from earlier. Pop that right on there. There we go. And let's give this a taste test. This just reminds me of coming home from school. Mom's got banana bread coming out of the oven. Didn't matter what happened at school. Anything bad? Who cares? Banana bread. So, everybody at home, give this a try and let me know what you think. Please give me a like, a share, subscribe. If you want to buy some merch, go to my merch store. It's in the link down below. Watch my other videos. Let me know what kind of things you want to see for the baking arc for Dad's cooking. I've been Dad. See you guys later. And folks, don't worry about all these dishes. Seriously, my wife loves to do them. She keeps calling me such like cute things in Japanese, like bakajin. It's okay. It's fine.